fans. Just, it's so passionate. The atmosphere. That's the best thing about it, is the atmosphere.
48,000 jumping around like total lunatics, jumping into people who you don't know, hugging people who you don't know. It's just mayhem.
I mean, the most important thing to me all year was renewing my season ticket.
It's all about Newcastle and football. I just love it. I think my heart's black and white. I couldn't put it any other way.
When you're in that stadium, there's 52,000 people in there, and you're playing and the ball hits the back of the net. It's like winning the lottery.
When I go to watch Newcastle, it's like they're representing me, my friends, my family.
It's something to look forward to, like, you know what I mean? You have your good times, you have your bad times in football.
It does affect us when Newcastle lose.
I got up for work the next day, still furious.
It makes you feel bad about yourself. You don't feel like going out.
Ask any real fan, and he'll say that football is more than a sport. He'll say that a man's passion for his team is a lifelong commitment. He'll say that football is love. But how deep is that love? And how does a man's feeling for football compare with his other great passion in life, his wife?
You couldn't understand my point of view of just maybe spending the day with me and Charlie, you know, instead of phoning up your friends and saying not going. You just wouldn't dream of doing that, though?
No, I've never cancelled a match.
Never, ever?
Never.
Football always better top for you. Always.
You know, as football comes first.
You can take your wife on holiday for a fortnight, wine or dine or do everything. When it comes to the season kicking off, oh, you're going to the football. I'm sorry, Pet, but I've just paid £2,000 for you a bloody holiday for a fortnight. I'm good for 9 months.
I think you would still like to push the boundaries if I would let you.
What do you mean?
With going to the away matches and that?
No, I'm not bothered about that now.
The football is a release for Vic as well. She likes the fact that I go to the match because it gets me out of her hair a bit.
If I can get to 4 or 5 a season, I like to get to Man United, Liverpool.
Quite a few, though.
I don't class an away game. I like to do at least one London game as well on the train.
But it's so expensive, though.
I do let football get in the way a little bit, but football was there before my wife, and it's always going to be there, so it's always going to be a problem.
Together with the University of Bristol and Newcastle United, Puma gathered the most fanatical supporters to participate in a psychological study. All season ticket holders, all in long-term relationships.
One of the things that we have the luxury of being able to do as scientists is design experiments to answer interesting and potentially important questions that are also of personal interest to ourselves. So, for example, as someone who enjoys football, follows football, has a football team that he supports, the kind of study which allows us to answer those questions in the context of football is particularly appealing to me.
I would say they're quite close together.
She knew I was into football when she met me. I don't know if she thought she was going to get it out of me, but she hasn't.
My boyfriend's pretty whipped, so I'd say he definitely likes me more than football.
It should be the wife. I know it should be.
Why is that?
Because football is just a sport.
The basic idea of this project is to ask whether we can use physiological measures of arousal and emotionality to get some kind of objective handle on how people respond to the act of destroying the picture of a loved one, which we would expect would elicit an emotional response and therefore elicit a physiological response, will be similar to the response that we'll get when we ask people to destroy a picture of a cherished football team.
There's 4 in the envelope, man. You cut them in two.
You cut them all.
And then just cut through.
Just once?
Just once, right in the middle.
That's not much.
No.
What is being measured is the degree of resistance between the 2 electrodes on a person's skin. The more aroused a person is, essentially the sweatier their skin is, and that changes the degree of conductivity across the skin.
So you should have had a lot of anxiety when you're cutting mine up. Is that the idea, is it?
Oh,
I see.
It's only paper.
That's fine. If you're not comfortable doing that, you don't want to cut it. Okay, that's fine.
Clip, 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 clip.
Sorry, Brent, we did want to get off your chin.
When you are emotionally aroused, whether you are happy or distressed, there is a change in various systems in the body. High levels of arousal are associated with increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, and changes in the electrical conductance of the skin.
I did feel a difference. I took a second to cut the wife up. I took a second or so to cut the football team. I can tell you now there is a difference between cutting up a photograph of something you like or love and something you have absolutely no attraction to.
A lot of these professors must be blinking halfway to madness, wasn't they? We have never lost a home game since that Norm was standing guard here.
It depends on the mix of people that are taking part. Maybe the family's not as important to them, and football is, and Newcastle is.
Football is probably a religion up here.
Who I love is Newcastle United because I've been in love with it longer than I have my wife.
Well, I've been all over Europe with my wife, but the best time I had was with me mates in the San Siro when she was going with lad.
Football is love, isn't it? It's marvellous. I wouldn't give me season ticket for no one.
When you get a tattoo, it's for life. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's like Newcastle, it's for life. The wife, you can fall out at any time, they're not going to fall out in Newcastle.
After the test was completed by the researchers, the subjects faced a new dilemma. Each was given 2 voodoo dolls, one representing his partner and the other representing his favorite player. The subjects had to make a choice. Either stick pins into the player and take him out for the next game, or into his partner and put her in bed for a week.
I gotta do it, man. Best player of the season, man.
I'm sick though. Just from cold flu.
Oh, sorry, like what? I couldn't do that to her, really.
For a week. It's a bit harsh, isn't it? A week to one game, but I'll have to do this just for a week, just because it's a week.
She's in bed for a week, I'll take that, no problem. No, can't I do with a suit, honest, I'm not kidding you, can it? Nah.
After days of analysis, our lead professors collected all the psychological and physiological data to create a scientific report, a white paper that finally answered the question. By the next home game, we had the results.
Everyone in here absolutely loves the black and white.
Despite what men say, science reveals that subconsciously, their affection for their wives is almost 5 times stronger than for their football team.
I'm gobsmacked. I thought it was football. I thought it was football all along, but maybe it's not, man.
Scientists very rarely say conclusively proven because someone will very quickly come along and prove you wrong. But certainly the data that we collected seemed to quite strongly support the idea that actually when it comes down to it, they feel more strongly about their partners than their football team.